Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, crypto, and finance. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you latest updates with crypto, specifically ETH, as well as covering one ETH Treasury company that is SharpLink Gaming, ticker SBET, what my price prediction of ETH and SBET will be in the coming weeks and the rest of 2025. And most of you are wondering, why are we seeing a pullback right now with ETH as well as the market? I mean, today was a big bloodbath. I think there was news around uncertainty with Jerome Powell speaking in the upcoming Friday announcement. And, are we seeing just a sudden hiccup with crypto and stocks? Will we continue to see a downward trend, or will this be just a hiccup where we will see reversal? Now, we'll be covering all of that, but if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's get started, guys. Sensei post is the perfect time to buy ETH is now. So what are we seeing? ETH got up to the point where it almost got to its previous all-time high. It was hovering at like 4,788, didn't break through that 4,800 barrier. Since then, it's now, gone down to, close to that testing of the 4,000 range. But when you think about it, I mean, 4,000 was just the recent resistance area. Now, when you think about it, how it flipped the switch to become the support, definitely the demand zone where I think that it'll just be a stair step climb and we will get back to new levels. This post here says dump retest moon. Ethereum mastered the pattern. Old resistance becomes new support. Every ETH dip fused the breakout. This isn't weakness. This is liftoff. So what have we seen since June to July? We saw that dump time where old resistance became the new support. We had that next leg up. Old resistance became the new support, and now next leg up, old resistance becomes the new support. We will continue. I mean, Ethereum hasn't really broken out yet. We've heard from, many analysts like Tom Lee forecasting that ETH is going to be going to, 16,000. So we're not out of the woods yet. Andrew poses ETH. Let's remain patient. So what are we seeing right now? I mean, now that we're in the past the half year cycle in 2025, now that we're in August, we may very well be at this base consolidation period with this new support around 4,000, 4,100, and we're going to just see that next leg up to all-time high. Things can't just shoot up in one straight shot. It has to go up, then correct, consolidate, create a new base before it shoots up. So this is definitely healthy from my perspective, and there's going to be more momentum pushing up. As we think about Bitcoin, having a price target of like 180 to 200,000, ETH won't just be sitting around at these levels. It will follow the mother coin as well. Crypto Goose posts retail is selling ETH, whales are buying ETH. I will follow smart money here. So, what are large investors doing, like financial institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity? They continue to stack ETH to support their ETFs like ETHE, Grayscale, and ETHA for BlackRock. So, in purple, you see the amount continuing to go up while retail continues to exit the market. When you think about it, the whales know what they're doing, so follow the money with the big time financial institutions and the whales. Tiger posts is SBET setting up for a breakout. So what are we seeing? We're seeing a bull flag being drawn out. Yes, it's been quite painful, seeing SBET, go down from that run up top of like, recently, since last week from like $28 now down to like $18. That was a big, quick pullback. The question is, how soon are we going to see a reversal pattern? Are we going to continue to see some bleed out? Overall, we are definitely in the demand zone for huge upside run-ups for SBET. Nicholas posts SBET, as some other players have pointed out, Bollinger Bands are tightening here, indicating a big move up or down with the weekly trigger right below. My gut says the move is higher to the monthly trigger, roughly 170 17% from here. So we're seeing this bullish pennant flag drawn out. Can we see that run up to the upper tier, where we're going to get priced at around $36-40? SharpLink posts is, what their thesis is. So acquire ETH, stake ETH, grow ETH per share, end of tweet. So definitely that's the philosophy at SharpLink, buy ETH, stake it, get that, return on investment with the staking and then grow ETH per share. Let's look at strategic ETH reserves. So as we look at the top companies, we see Bitmine Immersion Technology with 1.5 million of ETH equating to $6.2 billion worth. SharpLink is right behind Bitmine. I mean, they're aggressively buying Ethereum. Now they are at 740,000 ETH, equating to $3.03 billion. So, they're behind Bitmine in terms of the amount of Ethereum that they're holding on to. But when you compare the market cap, while the ETH reserve is like, half of what Bitmine has, the market cap, there's a huge disparity. I mean, you have 8.64 billion for Bitmine, SharpLink, you have 2.56 billion for SharpLink. So there's huge upside, I believe, with SharpLink with the current market cap. And we see with the recent purchase, August 19th, they announced 143,000 Ethereum purchased by SharpLink Gaming. So the purchases of ETH does not stop. I believe it's going to be a continuous race with all these companies just stacking Ethereum, at speeds that they can, deliver on. Let's take a look at technical analysis. So Ethereum currently at 4,113. Yes, we did see Ethereum get up, close to that 4,800. This is a healthy move. I mean, when you look at it, RSI, July 20th, RSI, August 13 was in the overbought situation. So obviously it had to cool off a bit before that next leg up. Now, when you see, where the current price is, it's continuing to show higher lows, higher highs. So, I definitely do think that Ethereum's just gonna consolidate before that next leg up. The momentum hasn't stopped yet. This is healthy. You can't just have, Ethereum shoot up on one line. It goes in sine waves in an upward direction. So I do anticipate by year end, we're gonna get somewhere around, I'm thinking like 7,800 is my, moderate perspective as to how high Ethereum can go. So that's over like 1x of where we are currently. Let's say with Ethereum breaking to like 7,800, what does this mean for SBET? I mean, even on the near term, I'm forecasting somewhere around, in the coming weeks, as we head into the first week of September, I think we have the ability for the price action to get to like 37, $40 plus upside. Yes, we're seeing a huge pullback. We haven't seen much price action. I mean, recently it dropped from like $28 last week to now $18. That's $10 drop off. But while there is huge volatility, there could be volatility bounce up to the major upside. Yes, we saw the price action go from like $8 to $40 with 12 consecutive days of green, and then it had a pullback. Are we going to see that run up top that we're expecting to see? Only time will tell. One of the good things is, relative strength is in that stable condition. We continue to see a rising OBV, similar to what, we're seeing, back during the July run up. So it's going to be a matter of time. As soon as Ethereum starts running back up, we're going to start seeing the ETH Treasury companies like SharpLink having a nice reversal pattern. Yes, painful today. Definitely an opportunity to dollar cost average with like a 8.65% drop off. I would remain patient. Things are going to turn around for SBET, and we're going to start seeing the price action get back into the $36 in the coming weeks.
So to date, the crypto community has been about $4 trillion. There's about $100 trillion ready to be tokenized. Secretary Essent said that today's 250 billion of stablecoins could easily grow to 2 trillion by 2028, and institutional adoption and tokenization of real world assets is starting to explode. Ethereum, as the largest blockchain separate from Bitcoin, has about a 10-to-1 ratio of real world activity happening on it. And that is where liquidity is consolidating and transactions are consolidating.
What do you mean a 10-to-1 real world activity?
So if you look at the transactions being secured by Ethereum, Ethereum has 10x the next largest blockchain. So thinking of the layer 1 Ethereum and the layer 2s who support it have 10x the next largest. And what we know is that institutions seek security and liquidity, and Ethereum is that leading blockchain. That's why we believe there's a long-term Ethereum opportunity.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed another episode here at alliseeisW. If you did, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing, even turning on the bell notification for more related content. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you on the next one.